Hello everybody and welcome back to the Chassis Chariot series with myself, Critical Rocket, and here we are with the only version of the Vulture, or Mad Dog, that can be built currently in MechWarrior Online using existing parts that isn't already in the game. This is the Vulture H, and with a lot of the H designations for the clans, this one is basically stands for heavy lasers, or some kind of new technology such as their ATM systems. No hags. I doubt we'll ever see hags now, but yeah, this is a version of the Vulture that drops the LRM-20s to 15s, replaces the lasers in the arms with a single heavy large in the right arm, I believe, and triplets of the heavy medium lasers. So it has a significantly increased mid to long range punch in the regards of the, well, not really with a heavy large. Medium range is definitely now its new killing zone. Compared to the Prime Vulture with the 2 large pulse to medium pulse, which gave it an okay engagement range. Its main focus was its 2 LRM-20s, but now with the 15s and these heavy mediums, you're actually going to do better just inside the heavy medium range. Combining with all those, you will melt armor in seconds. That's the upside of the mech. Outside of that, though, it's incredibly hot. Maybe its main function is as a fire support unit, because the age-old issue at the moment with heavy lasers in MWO, as has always been the case since they were introduced, is high damage but very high heat and short range and long cycle time. Even with skills, that cycle time is still quite painful, especially when you have a great shot and you really need them to recharge and they just don't. So that is one of the big drawbacks of heavy lasers, but that trade-off of just a massive punch right there and then can be the difference in a one-on-one fight. And as such, this build is pretty damn effective. It was useful that I was obviously in a cold map on this, but you can see that the mech definitely struggles in wider maps like this. This would be the case on things like Polar as well, and the only version of Frozen City this would work on would be Classic. So yeah, I do like the build as we sort of wrap that up, because let's talk about the elephant in the room at this point. So for people who may watch this further down the line, after all of this, this video was made after the MechWarrior 5 announcement with regards to Epic, and the impact that this is having on MechWarrior Online. I've been in tour since 2012. Basically, it's pretty much the day I got closed access to the game after paying in for my Veterans Pack. I found a unit, and I've been with that unit ever since. And I've consistently played MWO every week at some point with the guys at tour, and it's been great fun. But it's now looking like that's going to end soon because of this Epic deal. The numbers for MechWarrior Online have been declining before this, but I can't help but now see a steady and more rapid decline of the player base for MechWarrior Online, and that is a real shame. It's not been a bad game by any stretch. I don't think anyone who's played it for a long time could ever really disagree with that, because it's got its moments and it's very fun. But I think everyone could agree that it's a game that could have had so much more. There was a lot more potential in there, and it was never really reached for MechWarrior Online, and that's probably the main reason why, sadly, there was a declining player base. Outside of certain decisions or maybe statements that were made that may not have been truthful over the years, or certain changes that were made to gameplay that may have annoyed others and made some people leave, overall, the game has been good. It's just not been as good as it could have been. And now, with this, I really don't know how much longer MechWarrior Online can continue. Looking at the Steam stats, and I know that isn't everybody, but looking at Steam alone, for MechWarrior Online, it's barely breaking 600 on most days, most evenings over here. It's got, by the looks of it, a very rapidly dwindling player base, and that is a shame to see. I know there's probably maybe equal or more number of people who use the the Portal, the launcher, but I don't know how much longer it will keep up with this. You know, with the admission by Russ that the game isn't profitable and they're not selling mech packs and there doesn't seem to be any kind of sizable updates coming for the game, there doesn't really seem to be much reason now for people to stay with the product. And after the couple of videos in the news over the weekend, I've had, you know, responses from many people who said that they've uninstalled or they just won't play MechWarrior Online anymore. And yeah, it's through their own doing, unfortunately. And yeah, I'm now wondering if the game will be around long enough for me to finish this series. I hope it is. I'd like to be able to have that as a body of work, as the great thing about this series is that there's gameplay that really ranges from some of the early days of MechWarrior Online that could go right through to this, what seems like an inevitable end now for the product. And yeah, it's a shame that it would go out like this. It would be cool if it was to shut down on a high, but yeah, it just feels now that the days of MechWarrior Online are sadly numbered. And yeah, that's a real shame. But it's it's just sad. It's just a sad turn of events, really. That's really. It's really hammered a game that's struggled, you know, and despite the struggles, MechWarrior Online has soldiered on. It really has. And yeah, I thought I'd do the clans here because because the Innisphere ones, we'll be seeing lots of them in the future of MechWarrior 5 anyway. And the clans have been left out of MechWarrior 5, at least for now. I think they will be DLC, or they're already there and they just haven't told. I think that was supposed to be a surprise. I've said that about previous AMA responses. So, yeah, the fight was good though. I enjoyed that match. It looked like it was going to go badly, and then the team I was on swung it round, and I think I was okay. I think I had decent damage. That Raven at the end really had it in for me. He was popping with those PPC shots quite a lot. But yeah, thanks so much everyone. Hope you have a good week, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye.